This is course number 4, Accounting and Finance for Managers. This is unit number 5, Construction and Analysis of Profit and Loss Account. In the previous videos, we have already covered these 7 topics: linkage between profit and loss account and balance sheet, how to measure income, how to prepare a profit and loss account, some indirect expenses and 2 methods of depreciation, the representation of profit and loss account, and the cost of goods sold. In this video, we are going to see topic number 5.9, methods of inventory valuation. Let us jump to the topic. Methods of inventory valuation. This topic deals with how to evaluate or how to show the price of the goods that were bought. In an economy or in any country, the prices of goods keeps on increasing because of inflation and other economic factors. When the prices are changing every day, so how to show the price of the goods that were bought by the company? There are 2 methods that are shown in this example: first in first out method and last in first out method. We will take an example, and using this example we will understand the 2 methods of showing the value of the inventories in the profit and loss statement. We are talking only about the cost of the goods sold or the purchase price of the goods which are brought into the business. We are not talking about the sales revenue. How to show the cost of the goods in the profit and loss account is the theme of this topic. There is one example here. On January 1, a business has bought an inventory of 500 goods, each costing 3 rupees. On January 5, purchases of 1000 goods were made, each costing 4 rupees. On January 10, 2000 units were purchased, each costing 5 rupees. Again, on January 15, another 1000 units were brought, each costing 6 rupees. On January 20, another 3000, each of 4 rupees. On January 25, another 2000, each of 7 rupees. Total 9500 units or 9500 goods were purchased, and their total value is 47,500. As and when they purchase, they are also making sales. So what sales they have made is given here. On January 11, the company sold 1000 units of goods. On January 14, it sold another 500. On January 16, another 1000. On January 21, 2000 units were sold. On January 30, 1500 units were sold. Total 6000 units of goods were sold. The sale price is not given here. We can assume any price. Sales revenue is not the theme of this topic. We will see it later. The purpose of this video or this topic is to understand how to show the cost of the goods. This table, at what price we have to show the cost, because here the cost is increasing. On January 1st, each good costed 3 rupees, and on January 5 it is 4 rupees, January 10 5 rupees, January 15 6 rupees. So it keeps on increasing. The price is increasing here. So when the price is changing every day, how do we show the price in the profit and loss account? Okay, so there are 2 methods: first in first out method. If we take the first in first out method, then the old goods or the earliest goods which were bought first, that value has to be taken into account for showing the cost of the goods. We'll see here, the first sales were made on January 11, 1000 units were sold. Okay, when these 1000 units were sold, what is the cost of the 1000 units? We have to take the oldest goods which were brought by the company. The oldest goods were on January 1st. On January 1st, 500 units were purchased at 3 rupees each. Again on January 5, another 1000 units were purchased for 4 rupees each. So from this, 1000 units are available. Okay, so take 1000 units, 500 from first January 1st and 500 from January 5th goods. Together, we will have this much cost: 500 into 3 rupees from January 1st, 500 into 4 rupees from January 5th. Total 3500 rupees will be the cost of the goods sold on January 11th. On January 14th, what happens? Another 500 units of goods were sold. So what is the cost price here? Another 500 means on January 5th, 500 were already taken and another 500 were left. So take this 500 into 4 rupees as the cost of the goods. On January 16th, another 1000 were sold. 1000 were sold means on January 16, 2000 are available. Take 1000 units from here, each of 5 rupees, and take that as a cost of the goods sold. 1000 into 5 rupees, 5000 is the cost of the goods. January 21, 2000 units were sold. January 21 means we have 1000 goods left on January 10th and 1000 goods from January 15th. So 2000 into 5 rupees from January 10 and 1000 into 6 rupees from January 15th. Together we have 11,000 will be the cost of the goods sold on January 21. On January 30, another 1500 units of goods were sold. So 1500 from up to January 15, all the goods are completed now. Now on January 20, 3000 goods are there. 3000 units are available. From this, 1500 are sold. 1500 into 4 rupees each. 6000 will be the cost of the goods sold on January 30. Therefore, total units of goods sold will be 6000 and total amount will be 27,500. So leftover stock will be for 1500 from January 20th goods and 2000 from January 25th goods. Together 3500 units will be left over. Their cost will be 1500 into 4 rupees and 2000 into 7 rupees. 20,000 will be the cost of the leftover stock or inventory. Total 27,500 plus 20,000, 47,000 will be the cost of the goods sold and the cost of the inventory. This is the first in first out method. Here what we are essentially doing is the goods which were brought earlier, which were bought earlier or oldest goods which were brought, their price, cost price will be taken into consideration for showing in the profit and loss account. Okay. The second method is last in first out method. In the last in first out method, when the goods are sold on that date or prior to that date, whatever goods are available, whatever goods are latestly bought, that price will be taken into consideration. For example, January 11th, 1000 units were sold. As on January 11th, what is the latest group of goods that were purchased by the company? Here you can see January 10th is the latest purchases. 2000 units are purchased each of 5 rupees. So you take 1000 from this and take it as the cost price. So 1000 into 5 rupees will be the cost of the goods sold in the last in first out method. January 14th, 500 units were sold. January 14th means up until January 14th, we are having only this goods which were bought on January 10th. You take 500 from this group, each of 5 rupees, and take it as the cost price. We have already used 1000 goods from the January 11th sale and another 1000 are there. From this 1000, you sell another 500 rupees, each of 5 rupees. 500 goods, each of 5 rupees. Total cost price will be, cost of the goods sold will be 2500. On January 16th, another 1000 goods were sold. So, before January 16th, the company has purchased on January 15th, 1000 units, each of 6 rupees. So, from this, you take all the units and sell. So, 1000 into 6 will be the cost of the goods sold. On January 21, 2000 units were sold. Before January 21, what are the goods that the company has purchased? Here on January 20, purchases 3000 units are purchased. From this, take 2000 and sell. Okay, 2000 into 4 rupees. 8000 will be the cost of the goods. On January 30, 1500 units were sold. So before January 30, what are the latest goods that were purchased by the company? Here on January 25, they have purchased 2000 units, each of 7 rupees. So 7 rupees will be the cost of the price, and take 1500 units from here, each 7 rupees, and take it as the cost of the goods sold. So total units that were sold by the company here is 6000, and the total cost of the goods sold, if we total all this, it will come to 32,000. The remaining, this first group of units which were bought on January 1st were not utilized. This 1000 units on January 5th, they are also not utilized. So the balance units which were left over, they will be the inventory. The inventory cost will be 15,500, and the total sales is 32,000. Okay. So here what happened is, the cost of the goods sold is increased. In the last in first out method, it is 32,000. In the first in first out method, the cost of the goods sold is 27,500. So what we understand is, as the price is increasing, in this example also it is increasing from 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 and 7. So as the price is increasing, the cost of the goods sold will be low in the first in first out method, and it will be high in the last in first out method. This will be very much useful for arriving at the gross profit. Gross profit means total sales minus the cost of the goods sold. So this gross profit is used for analyzing operating expenses, net profit, and many other things in the profit and loss account. So gross profit will be the point of consideration. So depending upon the prices, different methods will be chosen by the company. Normally, a uniform procedure will be followed throughout the year. Okay. From the above example, we find that the first in first out cost of goods sold, which is based on prices of inventory procured earlier or the oldest goods which were brought prior to the sales. In this example, it amounted to 27,500, and the closing inventory of 3,500 rupees units will be valued at 20,000, which is based on the most current prices. So the leftover stock will be at the current prices and the sold stock will be at the oldest prices. The last in first out cost of goods sold, which is based on the most recent prices of the inventory purchased, is 32,000 rupees in this example. Closing inventory based on the prices of earlier purchase is valued at 15,500 rupees. In both cases, we have seen the total amount will be 47,500 rupees only, because it is the total cost. Okay. Over the entire life of the entity, there will be no difference irrespective of the method used in valuing the cost of the goods sold. Okay, the only difference will arise in the accounting period. During that accounting period, when the prices are rising, if there is a first in first out method followed, then the cost of the goods will be less. If a last in first out method is followed, the cost of goods will be more. This will affect the gross profit. Okay, so in the next unit, in the next video, we will be seeing what is gross profit, what is operating expenses, what is depreciation, and after removing all the expenses from gross profit, how do we arrive at the net profit before interest and taxes. All these things we will see in the next video. Until then, stay tuned and bye bye.